Samford cornerbacks coach Sam Shade. Coach Shade, your group has obviously had some good performances this year from Tay Lewis and James Bradbury, a couple other guys. Just talk about your group and the performances they've had this year.
Well, my group as a whole, I've been very pleased with them. Coming into this season after losing a guy like Corey White, we were a little bit worried about how we were going to be this year. And obviously having a guy like James Bradbury transfer in this summer was big for us. Having him come in and be able to step in and play right away was huge. Along with the guys that we had coming back, Justin Sly, who's a senior, he's played some great ball for us this year. Tay Lewis, who's a junior, and Brandon Nettles, who's a redshirt sophomore. Those three guys, we knew we had those guys coming back, but just having James really was a big plus for us also.
And this week, going up to play Elon, the top passing team in the conference, the top individual passer and the top individual receiver.
Right.
Talk about going up against a team that like that and the problems it poses.
Well, it's a big challenge for us, obviously. Going up there playing against a team that throws the ball around as much as they do. They've got a great receiver who's an All-American. He was All-American last year, and he's on track to be one this year. Probably going to be playing on Sundays next year, so that's a big challenge for us. Not just as corners, but as a defense. We've got to do a good job of getting to the quarterback, who's a good player, and on the back end, we've got to be sound in coverage, and just try to. You're not going to stop the guy from catching balls, not going to stop the quarterback from throwing it. But you want to try to limit what they do as much as possible, and that's basically what we want to do. We want to go in and try to limit what they do as much as we can.
Then last week, obviously, we played Wofford, primarily a running team. How big of an adjustment is that going from an option team that pretty much just runs the ball to a team that throws it all the time?
It's huge. A lot of people don't understand that, and the thing about it, we had a bye week before the Wofford game, so we actually had 2 weeks that we worked on option. And, when you work on option, especially for corners, there's a big difference in the way we play option receivers and the way we play against normal wide receivers, because those option receivers, they're blocking a lot, so we're working on taking on those blocks and stuff. And, even for our secondary guys, our safeties and linebackers, there's a tough adjustment, coming back. But we feel like, we did it early in the season because we played two option teams back-to-back, Georgia Southern and Citadel, and came back and made that transition. But, we feel like we can make the same transition this time.
And then lastly, what do you say are the keys to coming away with a victory on Saturday?
Well, I always ask my guys that. I give them a cornerback review deal, and the last thing I ask them is, what do we have to do to win the ball game? And, I would hope that our guys for this week would say, basically, we've got to go out there. Number one, we've got to win the turnover battle as a team. So on defense, we've got to create some. The other thing is, we've got to make plays in special teams. We've got to make plays in special teams. That's a big part of it when you talk about, field position and, changing the sticks. You got to make some plays in special teams. So the cornerbacks, they play a big role on special teams, covering and, blocking on different deals. And the third thing I would say is just, go out there, play the hardest ball game you can play. Play as hard as you can play for 4 quarters, and let's see what happens in the end.
Thank you, Coach.